Hello, welcome. This is my first knitting podcast, and I'm calling it Knits with Jess. Very original. Um, I couldn't come up with a name. Ridiculous, I know. So I'm Jessica. This is going to be my YouTube channel, and if you want to stick around and have a chat about what I've been knitting and what I've been doing and anything that I've purchased, which won't, to be honest, won't be a lot because I'm in a bit of a buying ban at the moment. So I think I'll just run this the same way as what I've seen a lot of other podcasters run theirs, and we'll go through what I'm wearing and then what's on the needles, what I'm knitting, what I'm currently working on. Sometimes it won't always be knitting. Sometimes I have a little bit of crochet, and sometimes I might have a little bit of quilting and a little bit of cross stitch, whatever takes my fancy at the time. So let's start then with what I'm wearing. So this beautiful shawl here is the pom pom shawl. Can you see that? So it's just a beautiful garter knit shawl with an increase spine down the center, increases on the side, and these beautiful border that has these pom-poms, bobbles on it. This was a test knit for the lovely Laura Penrose. I was lucky enough to test it, and it was just a very comfortable, rhythmic knit that you sort of couldn't put down. And it's a DK weight pattern, but I knit it in fingering how double, so merino singles. This main yarn is cake wool. I may have a button no, I don't have a wool band. I thought I did. Where was I going with that? Yeah, so I just held it double. I struggled to get gauge a little bit. I wasn't really that concerned. I mean, it is a shawl. It's turned out a really nice size. I did end up getting gauge, but not with the needles that were recommended. So I went up to a 5, and I think it's 4.5 needles. And so I just went up to a 5, and I got gauge with that. My yarn was a little bit heavier than a standard fingering weight, so I think it was coming out a little bit heavier than a DK would have been. It was probably closer to a worsted. And then the border, I held double 2 fingering weight merino singles again, and one was a cake wool again. It's an American brand, and the other one strand was from Prosper Yarn, who is an Auckland based dyer, so local to me, in Atomic Bubblegum. So that's the like really bright pink in there. The lighter color is one by Cake Wool. So this is my latest finished object. Sometimes I don't finish a lot of objects because I'm not a very monogamous knitter. I jump around a little bit. I like to mix it up. I knit here and then I knit over here, and always switching. I know some people can't handle that, but I do get bored quite quickly, so I do tend to move around, but it just means that sometimes I don't get a lot finished, and then I realize that I've had stuff sitting there for 2 years, which is a little bit of an issue. So temperature's still quite warm in Auckland. It was a little bit cold this morning, so this was sort of okay, but it's probably around 21 degrees at the moment, just heating up for the day. So I might actually take this off at some point because it's a little warm. What's on my needles? So at the moment, what I've really been heavily focusing on is a shawl for my husband, and that's the Opus shawl, Maxim Cryers Opus shawl. When I saw this pattern, I thought it looked amazing on Maxim. It looked really good. It was just such a nice looking shawl for a man, and instantly I think the colors spoke to me. I really liked the colors, and I thought I'd really like to make that for my husband. I think it's definitely something that he would wear. So of course, I mean, it's a fingering weight shawl. I had to check with him first because, let's be honest guys, we're not knitting a fingering weight shawl for someone if they're not going to appreciate it and wear it. So I did. I checked with him and I showed him the shawl and I said, what do you think of this? And he loved it, but he wanted it in the colors of the original. So that kit was sold out, and also expensive to get to New Zealand anyway, had I gone down that route. And so I set about finding something that would be similar. And so this is where we're at so far. Now, this has been going since my husband turned 40. It was meant to be a 40th birthday present. And, well, I brought the yarn and I started. But up until a week ago, I was about here. So that's all I'd ever done. So this is, I was about here probably. So I've got this done in the last week and a half. On Tuesday, I put this progress keeper in. So that's what I've done since Tuesday. This is my main knit at the moment. And I love it so much. It is so beautiful. And my husband's really loving it too. But he saw me pull it out and he said, oh my God, you're knitting on my shawl or my scarf. When's it going to be done? So he's really looking forward to having that for the winter. Auckland is a bit, it's a bit warmer. So, I mean, we don't really need a scarf. Sometimes if you're out at nighttime. But let's be honest, with 4 children, most of the time we're inside before 8 o'clock. But it'll be I think it's a great accessory, and it's going to be a really nice to have for him. And so a little bit about the yarn that I'm using. It's all an alpaca merino blend, except for this accent color, which is 100% merino. So we have, this is what I'm using. Nevalia alpacas. That is for this blue and also for this darker grey. I believe that's called, yeah, I've got a ball band here, metal, and this one is pond. It's probably backwards for you, so that's bloody useless, isn't it? 95% New Zealand alpaca and 5% New Zealand merino. These are reasonable, like not too bad a price actually. So soft as anything. There is no itch factor. It is just like, oh, it's amazing. And this fabric, so nice. It's a really, it's such a nice knit. It's just such a repetitive, rhythmic knit that is, now I've got fluff on my face, haven't I? Great. It's just, yeah, it's just gorgeous. Now the main color, this fawny type color here, that is from Gumtree Gully alpacas. They're local to me, and when I say local, they're literally just up the road. And This is natural fawn. It's actually called natural fawn. It's an 80-20 merino alpaca, 100 grams, 400 meters per 100 grams. So it's a typical 4-ply. It's undyed. So that is as it comes off the alpaca or sheep. That is what it is. And yeah, it's beautiful. Now this one, I initially brought a darker chestnutty kind of colour in this same yarn, and my husband said no, I like the way it's got the pop in the original Maxim Cries one. If you know his original one, it has his sample and it has a very pop. So he spotted some yarn I had from Prosper Yarn, and it was I think it's Sweet Manuka or something like that, and it's very close to this colour. In person, it's probably blowing out a little bit in here, and he said, that's the colour I want. Well, I'm using that colour, and I wasn't prepared to give it up, and at the point they didn't have any in stock, and I wasn't, I didn't want to wait, because, here we are 2 years later still knitting it. So I sourced this from, and I thought I grabbed the ball band, but I mean, it doesn't look like I did. I sourced this from Black Wattle yarn. It's an Australian dyer, and they have some really gorgeous semitonals and solids, and it's just so the color range is amazing. And I think it's their sweet pea base, which is, I believe, 100% merino. I could be wrong on that though. So yeah, so that's my main knit at the moment. Loving it. It is a mosaic knitting, and that's the back. Look, all those slip stitches. I just think it creates such a gorgeous fabric on the back as well as the front. So that's my main knit currently, and I've cast a few things aside in order to work on that. Gosh, I've said about 6 times. Well, that's annoying, isn't it? So the main thing I cast aside was my very large anthology throw. I'm never going to get this all in the screen. Yeah. And you can see a series of yarn overs. And now I'm on to the final, the border, which is this beautiful lace pattern. I'm using a mini set. The mini set was from Mama Walling, New Zealand dyer, indie dyer, and I believe it was the winter advent that she's currently just released her latest winter advent. And that was my first time getting an advent, and my first time getting, into mini skeins, and I really enjoyed it. It was really fun, although I started to open them day by day, and that was great while it lasted. But I mean, let's be honest, I have no patience, and I ended up opening them all after about the 3rd day, and I just wanted to see where it was going. You can see it has a bit of a fade going on, and then sort of switches colors, and each color sort of fades into the next one. And then I got to here, and it's like, yes, yes, yes. And then this blue was meant to go into a lighter blue grey. And then that went into these purples. And I didn't quite like, not that I didn't quite like it, it just didn't feel quite right. And this was, so it came with a main skein as well, so 100 gram skein as well. And this was the 100 gram skein. So really beautiful blue, grey, some speckles in there as well. And I thought to myself, I want to use this for the lace. So I just switched it. I switched it around. I didn't want any striping through this lace pattern. I'm almost finished. I think I've got about 5 rows to go. So I didn't want any striping. I didn't want any changes through here. So I made sure I did an extra. It was meant to finish here, I believe. And so I continued for 2 more mini skeins and then picked up again the lace after that. Wanted to use this main color, and then I had dropped out one of the mini skeins, and I'm almost lost it. I'm going to do the bind off in that mini skein, which is a slightly darker color, so it'll end up with a darker color round as the final, which I thought I grabbed and I didn't. So that is almost done. I mean, do you think by the time we talk next time I can get that finished? Oh, that would be lovely, wouldn't it? So yeah, those are my 2 things that I'm still working on the heaviest at the moment. And I'm looking around and I've just realized that I've forgotten one of my projects. That's okay. It's a little jumper for Wolfie, who is my 3rd child. He really likes yellow, so I've made him. I might go grab it actually. So if you just hold there, I'm back. Look, there's going to be no editing. Let me tell you that. I'm not that smart at the moment with videos, so maybe over time. Who knows? I'll get there. So I grabbed it, and I'm just making the little flax. I think that's what's called, isn't it? Flax jumper. Gosh, camera. That's just where I've joined some new yarn. I'm making the little flax jumper by Tin Can Knits. It's one of their free patterns. It just has this beautiful, relaxed, nice fit to it. The kids, I made one for my daughter, my youngest daughter, and she wore it all the time last winter when she was born. And it just has such a nice cozy. So this is the flax. This isn't the flax light. This is the flax. So it's a double knit, and it just has this really cute detail, garter stitch detail on the sleeves. And as you can see, I am quite close to finishing. Just got those 2 sleeves to go. I asked him, hey Wolfie, is this for you? No. So let's see if the 2-year-old actually wears it, because you know what 2-year-olds are like, right? They love it, and it's his favourite colour until you give it to them, and then it's not. And that's living in my hohi, my pink hohi bag. You can see I like pink. These are great, and I'm knitting that in Wild Earth yarn, the Ashley 8-ply, and in the shade Sunflower. So very reasonable price point, I think. I mean, that's all relative, isn't it? So 100% merino, non-superwash, so it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I like it. So that is very close to being finished, and I'd love to get that finished this week. And really, I mean, it could be finished probably in the next couple of days, just to see how much knitting time I actually end up getting. Now I've just got one more thing that's actually not really hibernating, it's just sitting and waiting, because my mum has my 4.5mm needles, which I lent to her. I really like her to hurry up and just, you know, finish with them now. This is my third love note. Look! Oh, it is so fluffy and so soft. It is so nice. It's quite bright, but look at that yarn. It is so good. It is so good. Oh, it's just, I'm so ready to have this for when it gets a little bit cooler. It is knit in the colorway Real World, so Barbie inspired, and that is by Woollen Works. Chloe, who is a fantastic yarn dyer based in Australia, Melbourne, I believe, or Victoria, Australia. I love watching her on Instagram. She's beautiful. She's just so much fun. And it was in her 8-ply alpaca. And it's just, honestly, you have to feel this to just know, like, oh my gosh, it is so soft. It is so snuggly. It has, in terms of knitting with it, like, let's be honest, it's a bit of a pain in the ass. But the snuggliness of the fabric that it's created, oh, beautiful. Anyway, so that is at a stage where I just need to finish that hem and then put some sleeves on. I've got one love note that has sleeves to about here, and then I've got a bracelet length sleeve, and I think I might do a bracelet length with this one. But I really, I'd love to have that off the needles and ready to go before we get much cooler. And then in that same vein, I have for my daughter a love note. And this is fingering how double with a Surrey alpaca, a natural colored Surrey alpaca, and I think it was called Glow Stick by, she's an Australian dyer, Rainbows and Sprinkles, something like that. Oh my gosh, I've bought so much of her yarn and I can't remember her name, sorry. And so that's those two held together. And there's a bit of pooling on this, but I mean, to be honest, I don't mind it. And so I checked with Victoria today, like, how long do you want these sleeves? And she said, oh, Mummy, I want them to be down to here. So she doesn't want them full length, but she wants them sort of about bracelet length. I did the provisional cast on for this neck. I wish I hadn't. So my first two love notes that I did the provisional cast on, and this one that I just showed you here, I didn't. I just cast the neck on and then just went straight in. You know, I cast the neck on and I did some ribbing. Bloody big hole there, I don't know why. Why did I end up with that big laddering? Anyway, I wish I had done that with this one. I just don't think it's worth doing the provisional cast on for the child. She said to me, oh Mummy, the neckline's far too big. And I agree with her, like it was massive when I put it on her, so I think I'll probably end up decreasing down a little bit more than what the pattern says. Anyway, so this has been since last year and I haven't finished it, and I really need to because otherwise she's going to grow. But my saving grace is that I do have a younger daughter than her, so if this is too small for her when I actually come to finish it, which I just need to get my A into G and finish it before winter comes, and then she can wear it. Those are my main things that I'm working on at the moment. I do always have a sock project on the go, but I recently finished one half of the sock, or one half of the pair rather, one sock. So I don't have sock blockers. I don't know, why are they so expensive in New Zealand? Sock blockers. I find them just so expensive. Are they really necessary to buy sock blockers that are bloody... I want the metal, the wire ones. Has anyone seen the wire ones? Just, like they look like a coat hanger. I just want those. They just look so much more practical in terms of drying. But I can import them into New Zealand, and that's all good and well, except they cost so much. And I'm not paying like $40 shipping just to get some $40. By the time I get them here, it's $80. It seems silly. So they're not blocked, of course. This was yarn from my Christmas Advent this time, and it was from Rainbows and Sprinkles. This was the main skein. And then I had a mini skein, so I just did a normal 2x1 rib, heel flap and gusset, and this is a my size, but I don't know, I've done something funny with my tension on this set of socks. Can you see, like here, and that it's really tight, and it goes in where I've done this. So I think I just knit really tightly or something, and it is pulling slightly over the top of, like where my heel is over the top. It's pulling there slightly. They're comfortable enough, and I'm just hoping that maybe it'll wear out. When I'm wearing it, it will loosen up. So I have yet to cast the second sock on, so hopefully I want to do that in the next few days, and then at least, when we go out in the car, and even if it's sort of half an hour up the road, I can get a few rows in, and it's always a project that I just like to take with me, very easy, grab this bag and off we go. My gosh, don't look at this bag, it's filthy. My daughter is sticking it in her mouth. So that's kind of what's on my needles at the moment. That's what I'm concentrating on. I'm trying to get a few things off my needles. So the jumper is one, and that large anthology throw is the other thing that I really want to concentrate on getting off the needles. That frees up 2 sets of needles, and it brings me to what I want to cast on next. Because that's always exciting, isn't it? What do you want to cast on? And I don't know, have you seen Another Knitting Pod with Lena? She lives in Boulder, Colorado, and if you could have a knitting bestie, I think it would be Lena. She's so lovely, and she started me down this road, on this track of my next cast on, because she mentioned in, I think 2 podcasts ago, that she was going to do the 24 Birds MCal by, what's the lady's name? It's the pattern writer of the anthology throw. I can't quite, her name's gone from my head. So she's got an MCAL coming up, and it starts on the 21st of March. And Lena mentioned it, and she showed up a whole load of different yarns, and like, you know, how she'd sort of chosen her yarns that she was going to use. And she showed up Madeline Tosh, and I've heard of Madeline Tosh, but I don't think we have anyone in New Zealand that sells it, or it's not readily available. So I had a look, and there was an Australian website. I can't remember what the name of the Australian website is, and I thought, yes, these colours are beautiful, and I want to join in, because Lena just made it just so infectious, and like, oh yes, I want a piece of that. And I like a good MCAL, and I've really enjoyed knitting the anthology through. So I ordered some yarn, even though I'm on a bit of a self-imposed yarn buying ban, or just trying not to buy stuff when I don't need it, or when I don't have a plan for it, you know, the impulse buys. So I'm trying not to be so impulsive with buying yarn, because I see it and I go, I must have it, or a yarn shop has a sale and I say, oh, I need that right now, you know. I don't have a plan for it, and then I buy it, and then it sits there, and to be honest, I'm not going to get through my yarn stash in a year or 2 years, or probably 3 years. So I don't need to buy it. Anyway, I broke my little ban for this. But it's 4 skeins of fingering weight yarn. It starts on the 21st of March. And I'm going to show you, my color choices. I mean, these two look the same on this. Yeah, they look quite similar. But, oh, it's going to be gorgeous, you know, like, beautiful. Now, the Madeline Tosh that I've purchased is their Tosh Merino Light, and that is 100% superwash merino wool. This is the colorway, oh, I saw it before, where is it? There, Silver Lining. So it's quite a silvery, it's got these speckles through it. I was reading the designer's guidelines for this, and she said, you know, oh, I've lost one. Speckled. Oh, here I am. She said speckled yarns, like 3 of them, and then maybe like a pop of color. So I went with sort of these 3 as my, oh, those 2 are speckled, and then this one is also speckled. But I think I might, one of them you use significantly more of, and I think this is going to be the color that I use significantly more of. And that's pink copper, and that color is, oh, I love it, beautiful. And then I also have, so Mars Rover, so similar to that other one, except it's got this really lovely sort of, is that like a tealy color in it? I thought that was really fun. And then my other choice that I had originally chosen was this, not chestnut, but it was, I think it was called walnut or something. Toffee. Oh, it was a brownie color. They emailed me and said, oh, sorry, we're out of stock. Which was a little bit, I was initially very disappointed. And then I said, oh, that's okay. Can you chuck in this antique lace color? Which I think plays really, really nicely with this. And even like, you know, yeah. So that is my next cast on. And I want to get that done, hopefully, I think it runs for 6 weeks. So it runs a little bit longer than if you've done an MCAL with Stephen West, his main MCAL every year. If you've done that, it runs for 4 weeks. And it's always like, yep, I'm on track. First week, that was great. It's, it's quite easy to get the first week of knitting done. And then the second week comes along and, well, this is what happens to me. You kind of go, right, okay, it's a little bit more knitting. And you don't quite get there. And so then you chill into the third week. And then by the third week, you haven't even started the third clue. And then by the fourth, it's out the window. And if you're like me, last year's MCAL is then, still sitting, waiting patiently to be knit. And you don't give it any time and you don't go back to it. So I'm hoping that it is not the case with this MCAL. I'm hoping that because it's over 6 weeks, that the knitting is a little bit more even in all clues. That would be nice, rather than some of them being quite heavy in terms of time requirements of knitting. So let's hope that I can keep up with that. So yeah, other than that, that's sort of all I've got going on at the moment. I've got a crochet blanket as well, but it's something that I do if I feel like, I've had a little bit enough of knitting for the night, or my fingers are getting a little bit sore with the smaller needles. Well, actually, funnily enough, I don't get sore with the smaller needles. I get sore with the bigger needles. And then I put that down, and then it's a little bit of a change, and I seem to be able to crochet instead. I like to keep myself always sort of doing something. So I've always got sort of something in my hands. But that's sort of where I'm at the moment, and I'm hoping to have made a little bit of progress next time I come and talk to you. And of course the weather is getting colder, which means that there'll be a little bit more knitting time because, it gets a little bit rainy, and then we get a little bit more time inside. Not that I don't love summer, it's fantastic and it's been great, and you can get the kids out of the house. But yeah, so thank you for tuning in, and thank you for coming to listen to my yarny ramble. Maybe that would have been a better name for the podcast. Rambles with Jess. Because, God knows I can just go off on a tangent and start chatting. I know that a lot of these podcasts at the end, they always have a little bit of like a life update, but we haven't really been up to a whole lot recently, and, I'm new here. So, it is now Thursday. We don't do a whole load Thursday, Friday. The kids don't have any activities, which is nice. Saturday morning, we have ballet in the morning for my oldest daughter. And then there's a few activities around at the moment, end of summer. There's a few things going on, a few markets and things. So we might pop along to those over the weekend. But other than that, we don't really have any plans. We just sort of halfway into the school term, and then we'll have a small break for Easter, and we don't go away for Easter. We don't typically head off, so it'll be quite quiet until end of April, where we do head away for a family holiday. We haven't had one for a while, but we're heading to Bali for a family holiday, so that'll be nice, and that's something for me to look forward to. But until next time, I hope you all have a fantastic rest of the week and a great day, and tune in next time. Thank you.